Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, May 13th, 2014. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. A three-bedroom modern house owned by 55-year-old Fitzroy Thomas of Sion Hill was destroyed by fire yesterday afternoon. When contacted, the fire department told SVGTV News that officers responded to the call around 3:48 yesterday afternoon. Fire officials also confirmed that it was a bushfire which spread to the house, which was unoccupied at the time. When SVGTV News contacted the owner of the house earlier today, he said he has already started the rebuilding process.
They tell me that the mansion burning down, so I couldn't left to work because I finished up. When I come up here, I just see the place on fire. From the mansion here, and when it go down so, they didn't have enough water. So it's a blaze, and then the fire just catch and go wrong, so yeah, so it spread go around everywhere.
Thomas says he and two brothers lived in the house and that this is the second time that he has lost his home and personal belongings to fire.
Yeah, my brothers, my two brothers, we don't live with you, so that your suitcase burned down. Yeah, all my things burned up too, around my place. I built up a shack, for shack up here. Nobody forget nothing.
Meanwhile, head of the fire department, ASP Isaiah Browne, told SVGTV News that the number of recorded bushfires for the year thus far has surpassed that of the corresponding period for 2013. The fire chief says he is not in a position at this time to state the exact cause of the increase. However, he used the opportunity to urge members of the public to be responsible when dealing with fire.
There's an increase for 2014, and I'll give you the statistics. January 2014, we had 3 bushfires. February, 7. March, 16. April, 23. May, 18 presently.
Compare that to last year.
Last year, we had 58 bushfires. Presently, this year, we have 69.
Station Sergeant Charles Adams, second in command at the fire department, further explains that not all bushfires are caused by mischievous acts. He says that there are some legitimate reasons for lighting bushfires and that in such cases, people ought to incorporate safety measures to minimize risk.
To the dry season now, what is important to understand is that these fires that people tend to light are not altogether bad intentions. People want to clear land, but then being dry in the dry season, it is difficult to control. What we are seeing in the fire department is that if you have to burn, right, that you do it in a controllable manner, meaning that you could just do it by small bits, dig a hole, so you have the very sand that you create that hole with. You could use to control the fire by twining it, or use a bucket of sand, anything, because water is crucial at this dry period, so you need to use what you have in order to control the fire.
While there is said to be a decrease in the number of reported burglaries so far this year, Commissioner of Police Michael Charles has reported that reports of rape are on the rise.
Burglary is on the decrease. In 2012, there were 1,515 cases reported. Last year, it was 1,389 cases. So far, this year, we have 246 cases. What we can see with respect to rape, the rape is on the increase. 2012, there were 20 cases. Last year was 30. To date, we have 8.
Meanwhile, with the confirmation from Police Commissioner Michael Charles of an increase in gun-related crimes in the country, SVG-TV News took to the streets of Kingston to get the views of the people on what they think are some of the probable causes for this increase.
Start from the home. A lot of parents, they never give the children the right teaching. They bring them up out, you know, in all kind of different things, but God is out of everything, you know.
People No, nowadays you can't touch them, you can't nothing at all. You can't do nothing.
And children in it?
Yeah, children are the same thing. If you check a little children now, you check who you put back after him. Yeah.
So then
the communication and all that thing, now like long term you could rebuke a little child and tell them you do something.
Well, the fast crime, I said, well, the children, well, you could say big people, children, they want to work, they want fast money, and when they can't get the fast money, they see a man with the post, they grab the post, run. Next man might meet him, we hit him or she dead. Fast money thing. So then crime start to increase right away.
I think the real reason for all of this is because of drugs and all the politics. Well, politics just really start up all these drug-related crimes. And once it leads to drug-related crimes, it leads to all the violence and use of guns.
Kamara Wilson, a 37-year-old carpenter of Lomans Hill and Camden Park, was yesterday ordered to spend the next 3 years at Her Majesty's Prison in capital Kingstown. He was convicted by Senior Magistrate Richard Browne Matthias on 2 separate charges of unlawful and malicious wounding and damage to property on March 27, 2014. Wilson is accused of approaching Idrid Holder, a 62-year-old former seaman of the same address, and inflicted several stab wounds to the head and other parts of his body during a dispute over a damaged porch at Wilson's dwelling home. Before imposing sentence, Senior Magistrate Browne Matthias described Wilson as an aggressive person and reminded him that he had previous convictions of a similar nature, one of which was the assault of his mother. Ambassador Ellsworth John has commended this country for its state of readiness towards the implementation of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, the CSME. At yesterday's CARICOM consultation, the Director of the Regional Integration and Diaspora Unit, Ambassador John, pointed out that this country has made strides in carrying out the mandate of the policies agreed to for the implementation of the CSME.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines has always shown a strong commitment to participating in the regional integration agenda, whether it is at the level of CARICOM or at OECS. And one of the things that we have tried to do, because the OECS is a closer integration movement, is to make sure, first of all, that there is synergy in terms of what takes place in the OECS, both in terms of legislation and administratively, and then we take that into the broader CARICOM agenda.
John added that contrary to media reports, the Caribbean on a whole is making its progression towards the implementation of the CSME.
We have discovered a number of things in the process. Because through this process we were analyzing the legal and administrative arrangements that have been put in place in member states to ensure the single market and economy comes into effect. We have discovered that we are not doing as badly as it is reported in the media. That in fact, in most of our member states, administratively and legislatively, over 80% of the work that is required has already been done.
The Central Water and Sewage Authority has announced that water disruptions will recommence today, Tuesday, May 13th, in several communities across the country. The communities which will be affected from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. are Edinburgh, New and Old Montrose, Lodge Village, Top Frenches, Roseau, Penistone, Dubois, Vermont, Rolling Hill, Pembroke, Chauncey, Clare Valley, Retreat, 20 Hill, Top Kettles, Top Lomans Hill, Gibson Corner, Carb Village, and Great House. According to the CWSA, the disruption is to facilitate equitable water distribution to all affected areas. The CWSA is further encouraging the public to conserve water during this period. Still to come, CDC said to be $250,000 in debt after Carnival 2013. This and other stories coming up on Carnival Beat when SVG-TV News continues. Don't go away.
See
Welcome back. In Carnival Beat this evening, we hear that the Carnival Development Corporation CDC is some $250,000 in debt following Carnival 2013, though it has been stated that the organization's financial records are up to date and audited. Speaking at the CDC's first media conference since the launch of Vincimas, Chairman of the CDC, Dennis Ambrose, says he's very satisfied and pleased with the outcome of the event, which he described as grand. However, Ambrose admits that there are some challenges facing the CDC as they are still trying to clear up some deficits from 2013.
At the end of Vincimas 2013, there were some outstanding deficits which we have been making every effort to address. There's no definite time as to when perhaps we will have the funds available to us to clear this deficit. But we are making every effort, and hopefully before the start of Vincimas, we would be able to take care of that. Right now we are in the red to the tune of about $250,000. And as I said, every effort is being made to deal with this before the official start of Vincimas 2014.
Ambrose says it is important that Vincentians do not lose sight of the fact that the general cost of doing business continues to rise worldwide.
Just as the cost of undertaking any project, it cannot and does not cost the same as it did 10 or even 5 years ago. And this fact needs to be better appreciated by all parties concerned. The world's billionaires will tell you that it takes money to make money. We cannot expect to get the same quality and quantity in the year 2013 or 2014 as you got back in 1998 or 2008 for the same price. Carnival is highly competitive in the region. All countries are using this type of festival to bring visitors and businesses to their shores. We must do the same and do it better.
Meanwhile, Coordinator of Rural Carnivals, Esworth Roberts, says this year there will only be 8 officially staged rural carnivals with some 40 events listed.
Carnival is once again hosting the final Rural Carnival on the Vincimas calendar. The ever-popular Miss Rural SVG pageant is also included in their events. Efforts are being made to include pan mass and calypso in Rural Carnival activities where possible. I am indicating again that the door is wide open for persons involved in these art forms to approach rural committees to discuss areas of collaboration and to further enhance their inclusion. The challenge of obtaining sponsorship is being experienced again this year. I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to all sponsors of rural carnivals. Whether you're a sponsor of various rural carnivals like the St. Vincent Brewery Limited and Lime, or you're sponsoring just one or two, your contributions certainly go a long way in realizing successful rural carnivals throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The Miss SVG pageant 2014 is expected to draw a large audience based on the geographic location of the communities from which the 8 contestants hail. This year's pageant is being held under the theme, A Combination of Passion and Brilliance. Last Saturday, the 8 met with members of the media at the Young Island Resort, and as promised, here is the second half of that interview done with SVG-TV's Jamilla Wright.
Winning Miss SVG, what would that mean for you? What are your plans after you are crowned, if you are crowned Miss SVG 2014?
If I am crowned Miss SVG 2014, first of all, I would gain a scholarship where I will study business management. I can then come home, give back to my country by creating jobs. I am also a family-oriented person, so owning my own business, I would be able to provide for my family.
I actually want to become a criminal lawyer in the future. I plan to pursue studies at the University of the West Indies in Barbados, so I will move on to pursuing my career path, and also I would like to open a sports center in my community because I'm a sport fanatic.
All right. You know, I am sure that's one of the major attractions to the Miss SVG pageant is the scholarship. And if you're crowned Miss SVG 2014, you will be granted an opportunity to further your studies. What area of study would you pursue and why?
Psychology. I would like to become a counseling psychologist in the near future. About 10 years from now, God spare my life. The reason for that, I have noticed for young individuals, whether young or old, they are going through issues and problems, and I need to be able to interact with them to resolve conflict in a good way instead of being the negative. Stay focused and think positive.
I chose to pursue studies in early childhood education because children are our future, as cliche as it may sound, and we have to start at this very fragile stage in their lives in order to help them develop not only their personalities but also their mental capacity so that they can become exemplary citizens across St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
I am aspiring to pursue my education in the field of business administration. It is a subject that I am very passionate about, and there are always new ways advancing here to develop our business sector. To think about it, what will it be like in 2 to 3 years from now? And with me having to acquire my studies in that field, I will now be knowledgeable enough to come back and contribute here to the business sector in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
I would pursue the area of business management because I want to be an entrepreneur, to come back to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and open my own business here along the line of entertainment. This will create job opportunities, economic growth for the country. I just want to be an individual that comes back and give back to my country and make a meaningful contribution.
I do plan to become an entrepreneur. I'd like to have my own business that's creating employment for our Vincentian people. If I do win this scholarship, being crowned Miss SVG 2014, I would pursue studies in business management. I would also study cosmetology, as that is also another passion of mine.
Oh, right. You said you want to become an entrepreneur. What kind of business would you like to start in St. Vincent?
I would like to open a spa. Okay. Yes. I would pursue studies in international relations simply because everything that we do, whether we notice it or not, is internationally related, and I would seek to be of service to my country by aligning ourselves with countries that could be of service and help to us in case there is a disaster, in case there is a crisis.
Meanwhile, Miss SVG 2013 Shara George says it is still her plan to pursue studies in beauty therapy and will soon commence her studies abroad.
Have you taken any step towards that yet? When are you hoping to go and, start your studies? Or have you started, really?
I have been accepted by the Oxford International College of Beauty in Oxford, England, and I will be pursuing my studies beginning in January 2015 in beauty therapy, as I said.
All right.
See your eyes.